young Irish photographer, shows how it's done on social media. Today I'm very excited to talk to Mark Duffy. He's a young Irish photographer who's mastered social media and built up a large community there. Last year he self-published a book of Irish photography. Mark has got a great personality. He's really made for social media. He's built up a big community and creates lots of engaging content. I think you're going to enjoy our chat. Enjoy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Selfmaker Show. This is your host, ConorLyn.ch. Hi Mark, how are you today?
Not bad, are you well?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Great to chat to you.
Yes.
So, Mark, I've been following you now for a while, particularly on social media and Instagram, and really drawn into your content and your stories and your personality and the high energy. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and your background and what all led to this?
Yeah, well, the Instagram thing, it's a funny one. My story is kind of like a long story of like tries and fails. I'm a drummer 20 years and studied music in college, and then the recession hit in 2008. There's no work, especially in that area anyway. So taught myself graphic design, worked at that for nearly 10 years, and just kind of fell out of love with it, and just completely got hooked on the idea of doing photos. And it started off as trying to showcase the local area, Dundalk and County Louth. It has a bad reputation, and I was just like, there's a lot of stuff to be shown here, so that's what really got into it. And in the last 2 years now, I've just commercial photography's caught my eye, and actually working up to going and actually working for myself as a photographer, which at the start of the year is what I eventually did. It's kind of been like a roller coaster of just trying to make a name for myself, failing at it, trying something else, kind of getting there, and then the photography just absolutely just took off, and the whole Instagram thing as well.
That's brilliant. So obviously there's layers of skills that are building up. So through the decade of design, you must have learned a hell of a lot. Do you want to tell us a bit about that career and who you might have worked for and what type of design work you might have been doing?
Yeah. So initially it started off, when you're playing in a band and you're trying to when the original scene, you need posters done. So that was how it really originated, from just organically from that someone in the band needed to do the posters. So I ended up doing it. Yeah. And I just found that Photoshop wasn't too different to audio software on how they work. They're all kind of similar if you get around them. And when the recession hit, I had a lot of time on my hands. YouTube was there, and I just started going through YouTube and learning off it. And I eventually got a job in Boyle Sports. Their headquarters is just here in Dundalk, where I'm based. And when I went for the interview, I was going as on the phone lines, doing the phone about. Just that's what I was being interviewed for. And then they'd seen in my CV that I did a 6-month course with Foss in web design. There was only a brief introduction type thing, and they were like, "Oh no, actually, you would suit this department." And it wasn't the design department; it was the screens department. So when you go into a shop and you see the array of TV screens, that was the department I was brought in with, and I was end up designing straight off the bat. As soon as we're in, they were like, "Okay, we're going to have you sit here, and we're going to get you to do designs." And I was there for about 2 years, and then I got actually offered a job as a full-time graphic designer in the design department, having totally taught myself every night. Just as soon as you finish work, you're at home learning something else. Web 2.0 was the big style back then, and skeuomorphism and all. So for anyone who doesn't know what skeuomorphism was, if you remember the original iPhone and the calendar app, and how the calendar app looked like real leather, and had, if it was the notes app, it looked like real paper. That whole ridiculous idea. And it just, I remember having to do designs during that time, and just the nitpicking that yourself, the head of design, the marketing crowd would be doing over, is the gradient subtle enough, or just so it was just so ridiculous just to try and make something look real. Like, why? It gave no extra experience to the user. So it was just, when they came with the flat design, that was a welcome from everyone. But yeah, no, I worked my way up to lead designer with Boyle Sports. Some of the more notable designs that I would have done would be the leading up to the McGregor Mayweather fight. I did all the imagery for the promotion for that, and included a massive banner that was, they actually used 2 banners down on Wicklow Street. So there's this one building that's on the corner, so it had a big long letterbox style, and then a more a square one on the other side. So that was probably my more noticeable contribution to the designs that I was doing. Like, but at that stage, I was already heavy in photography. I probably had, I think I was coming close to having 20,000 followers on Instagram at the time. So I was heavily involved with landscape photography and all. So my editing skills were coming to their peak. So the design. So at that stage with Boyle Sports, they would have me do the designs, and then the other designers would amend them to suit for print and for affiliate marketing and all that there. So my job was really just design the initial, and then the other lads in the team would then amend it to make it suit for everything else. Like,
yeah, great. So then you started doing more and more photography. Just tell me a bit about that transition from job to, from employment to self-employment, and the thought process, etc.
Yeah, what got me into photography was I did a time-lapse video with a GoPro of Dundalk, and it hit 25,000 views within a day or two when I launched it on YouTube. And then I just kept getting photographers saying, stop wasting your time with these GoPros, get a DSLR, you need to get yourself a camera, you would be really good at this, and with your design background, it's going to be, it'll fly. So, and landscape photography does a lot of editing involved in it, just to control the lighting, not to make it fake or anything. So I got absolutely obsessed with it. I'd finished my work as quick as I could on Boyle Sports and look up YouTube tutorials while I was at work, looking up photography. So but I had no intentions at all of going full-time with photography. It was a obsessive hobby that I had. I have one of these personalities where it's just, I won't put my name to something unless it meets my standard. And that was the same in drumming. By being a musician, you either know a song or you don't know the song. So you don't tell anyone you know the song until it's perfect. So that translated into my design work, and it flows right through into my photography as well. So I was known in Boyle Sports, don't approach him until he's finished his work. Even the owner of Boyle Sport, John Boyle, he would come past my computer, and he might make a comment a little bit too early in the design, and it's just like, oh no, just give it its chance. Give me another 2 hours, and I'll have it ready for you to see. Yeah. So that whole approach, even though I was an amateur and I was doing just landscape photography for fun, I still had the professional mindset. And it wasn't until I actually got the idea, when I left Boyle Sports and went to another company and I was doing brochures for them, I was just like, what I'm designing here is basically a photographer's portfolio. That's what it looks like. And it gave me the idea, maybe I should do a book. And initially it was just going to be a portfolio book, just showcasing my work. And then I had the idea of actually, no, let's take it further. So I did the Dundalk time lapse. Now we should show all of Louth. There's more heritage here than any other county except Dublin. We've the most number of heritage sites per capita. Yet we have no tourism. And I was just like, I wanna at least have my oar in the boat and help steer that. So yeah, I got the idea in July, and by October I had the designs and the photos finished and sent to the publishers. Released the book, and then from that started getting calls for work, headshots. Falch Ireland actually sent me around the south of the country about 6 months later to do photos for them on behalf of Ireland's Ancient East. And it was only from then that I was just like, the jobs I'm getting in are really easy to complete. And I'm just, people are coming to me, and I was just like, well, maybe this is a good avenue to look into, and actually, because I was starting to get a little bit disheartened with graphic design. I found it was very hard to get a brief and get it actually to a point where the client was happy. There was just too many. I'm trying to be nice, but it's just nobody was taking care to what the brief was initially, and it was just changing and morphing around. Where if someone says to you, "Go get a photo. Can you get a photo to me of an elephant?" You take a photo of an elephant, you give it to them. They're like, "Wow, that's a photo of an elephant." In design, it's not. It's really not at all. It'll change and morph into something completely different and unrelated to what it originally started as, and that just had me frustrated so badly. And I just had so much fun. I've like since I've gone out on my own photography, I feel I haven't worked a day since. And I might have full days. You know, I might have full days. I was out photographing DKT, the Dundalk Institute of Technology, yesterday. I was doing all the internal photos for them, full 6 hours, but didn't feel like a chore, didn't feel like work at all. Like, you know, last night was the first night that I actually took an evening off. Usually I would come home and then start working either on my own stuff or do more stuff ahead of the time. Like, you know, that's the only thing you have to kind of, when your job is to supply other people's marketing, to then market yourself, you then have to find time outside of that to get your own marketing done. Sure. So it ends up being some days I could be working, I don't even want to think about it, maybe 14 hours. But, you know, still not, it's still fun. You know, I'm playing on a computer with photos. So like, it can't be too bad.
So that's your passion. So obviously then you've got a perfectionism and is a big part of your personal brand and the way you work. So you've built up a great reputation around the design trade and then into photography. So the book was obviously a bit of a game changer for you as well, to try and get your name out there. So can you tell us a little bit about, you know, how you made it happen and how you got it out there? Because you just printing it is stage one, but then what happened?
Oh, so many rows with the publishers. Just like, again, meeting my standards. If it didn't, those rows. Quality was a problem in the beginning. The book has a matte finish to it. I don't even have a copy here sitting beside me.
Sold out.
No, they're in the sitting room. I wish it was sold out. It'd be great. I got my sitting room back. 400 copies in huge boxes. But no, it was actually simple in the beginning because I told nobody. I was too afraid of giving the idea to someone who had more money than me to get it done quicker than me. So there was a fear that photographers who'd been here longer than me, who had more money than me, could see that as a good idea. No one else had done it before. And even before, when I was actually looking about the book, I didn't go about just photographing, you know, Prolik Dolmen, you know, 4,000-year-old dolmen, like, you know what I mean, or, you know, like castle ruins at Roach Castle or Cuchullin's Castle. I approached actual living castles, you know, hotel castles, like those. Castle Bellingham, they were up for it. Ballymascanlon House Hotel, and in this castle then in Grange Bellew, just outside Drogheda, there's one called Barmead Castle. It's in the family 300 years. They live in it. It's their house, but it's huge. It's massive. So to get that in the book, so I even when I was trying to prepare the book, I wanted to make sure that if someone else tried this at a later stage, that they had a very high bar to try and surpass what I had done. And I just thought it could be a good talking point as well, like, you know, not just showing, oh yeah, it's just Louth is full of, like, you know, main roads and ruins. It's just like, no, it has a lot more than that. And but initially getting it out there was you know, like, you have to go back to how Instagram was 2 years ago to, you know, if you compare it to now, it'd be a lot more difficult, I think. But when I launched it on Facebook, it just, there was a delay in the prints coming. There was a delay in the books actually arriving to my door, and it was coming to the end of November. And I'm like, I have like a month before Christmas and people are going to have their Christmas presents. So I was just like, I'll chance my arm and I'll do a pre-sale. I'll do a pre-sale launch. Yeah. And I sold, because I didn't have much capital in on it as well. So I only ordered 200 books and I sold the 200 in the pre-sale. So before they even arrived, I had another 200 orders. That's brilliant. And then I just had them rolling. So by the time Christmas came, I think I ended up selling about 500 copies in that short time sphere. But then since then, you know, it has slowed down loads and loads and loads, because there's different seasons to it. I found that, you know, the following year when I go to craft fairs and stuff, people were like, oh, is that the same book? Oh, okay. You know, so you kind of get that, you know, they're looking for something new every year. But yeah, no, initially I found it pretty easy to market it and get it out there. And then I just went, I went to a couple of bookshops. There's not many around here, unfortunately. So I just went to as many as I could find that would be up for selling it. And Row River in Dundalk, they were they sold a whole load of copies as well. So, but yeah, it wasn't really. I'll be honest. Even when it comes to getting photography, what would you call it? Bookings, getting booked by clients and stuff like that. I actually don't really do much approaching to clients. A lot of them come to me at the minute, and it sounds really, really arrogant to say out loud, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I haven't actually had to do a single email to email a company going, hey, look at what I do and what I can provide for you. They actually just come to me. And I do a live Q&A every Tuesday on my Instagram. I call it Duffer's Tuesday Tips, and it's a question that comes up to me so often, and I get emails from people kind of going, I know you don't want to say it live, but can you tell me in emails? And I'm like, oh, no, my answer's the same. I don't know. I haven't actually got but that's the thing. That also goes back to my point in the fact that even as an amateur, I was treating myself as a professional, and once you keep that high standard, then it translates, because like social media is where everyone's marketing is using for marketing. Print ads and stuff, they're not as viable. I wouldn't say they're not as important. They are extremely important still, but it's not the center of what your marketing campaigns are going to be. Your marketing campaigns are going to be Facebook and Instagram and maybe a little bit of TikTok, but mainly Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, YouTube if you can get there. So if you have a really good foothold in platforms like that, then you know what I mean. You can just sit back, kind of like I have for the minute. I'm lucky. Even with this COVID pandemic, I'm lucky, like, so far.
Yeah, you've got it's been great for year one to to get through it and to be coming out the other side in a stronger position is brilliant. So it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging.
How do you business plan for COVID? January, I thought January was a good time to go full time. I was just like, I'd said I was working part time for a whiskey auctions company doing photos and graphic design. And when I joined them, they knew that I was wanting to go out on my own. So I was then with them 4 days a week, and then I moved it down to 2 days a week. And 2 months later, COVID hit, and my heart sunk for the first 2 months. I was just like, I don't know what to do. So what I did was actually I decided to not sit in my hands. I thankfully don't own an Xbox or a PlayStation. Instagram became my online gaming, as I would call it. I played the social media game. So I decided just to go and just challenge myself to better my photos and my skills at product photography, and just do some wild ideas, and just, if anything at all, I'm going to come out of COVID going, you know what, my skills are improved. Instead of kind of going, okay, COVID's finished and I don't really know what to do now. What do I do? It's a race to get going again. And I didn't improve anything at all. I just I kind of sat and sucked in the corner. I didn't do that at all. I took that as an opportunity to take 2 steps ahead of everyone else. I don't know if I fully did that, but at least people were impressed with what I had done. Like, so.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you really used the time very well. So obviously the whole area is that you work in now and have done is all about tools and skills and practicing. So how do you get the motivation to keep trying to learn the next tool and the next next feature of the various software programs, and what ones do you use most?
So it's also a common question I get too for editing suites and stuff. So I always stick strict to the Adobe suite because it is the industry standard. So if it was a case that the freelance photography wasn't going my way and I wanted to go back, say, into graphic design, it is vital that I stick with that, as well as I even working with clients and stuff. Again, I can accommodate with, if some clients come to me, they don't have a designer, so I'll actually do the designs for them. So still having a foothold within Illustrator and Photoshop, Premiere Pro and After Effects and all is still, it's not vital, but it's still a good idea to have pretty good handling on all of that. But yeah, it's just, I have this ambition of just being like regarded as one of the best, so I'm always looking to improve. So that's how I keep myself motivated, is just, I watched the Michael Jordan documentary and I could relate so much to him. Just his drive and
Yeah.
finding ways to convince himself that he needs to drive on further. Maybe not having, I wouldn't have like, the whole thing where I'm actually trying to attack another photographer. That wouldn't be the way I would be going. But I'd see what they're doing and I'm like, right, okay, hold on. They're after doing something phenomenal. I need to reverse engineer this, find out how to do it, and then do something in my own words and my own view, and see where this can take me. If I'm not scrolling through Instagram, I'm scrolling through Pinterest and seeing what's been done there as well. Like so.
So it sounds the Duffer's tips as well, the Tuesday tips. So that's obviously sharing those skills and knowledge. It seems like there's a great appetite for it. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the kind of numbers that appear to those sessions and the kind of following at the moment? Just to please.
It's a bit topsy-turvy at the minute. I don't know if Instagram knows if it's coming or going at the minute. It keeps changing so often. Like so, initially what it was to do was I saw a decline in my stories just because there's an awful lot of bloggers and stuff constantly uploading stories and stuff, and the emphasis on photographers is kind of dwindled a little bit. So there was two things. I was trying to save my stories, and I was also trying to address the fact that I was getting the same questions emailed to me every single day, and I was spending a lot of time I'm sitting here drinking hot water and honey because I'm always sending voice notes now. So my throat since the whole lot of COVID, I've had awful problems with my throat. Just like I get hoarse because I'm constantly talking. But that's what the Duffer's Tuesday tip was. It was to streamline all that, bring it all into just one house. And I was doing it as stories as well initially. For the first year, I did it all as stories. So I would put up a question box, people would send in the questions, and then I'd do a funny video reply. I noticed a lot of people, when they do question boxes, they'd put up a picture and they would type in their replies. And I'm like, it's not engaging. That's not, I can bring something different to that. I can have the crack with it. I take my photography extremely seriously, but I don't take myself seriously. And I think that's one thing that's one thing I can say about my Instagram is that people are relating to, because I get the feedback from them about that. Yeah. But what I've done now is actually in the last 3 weeks is I've now changed it to live, because Instagram has changed the live. So where I was getting between 2,000 and 3,000 people watching my stories, now you would get that initially, but then that would dwindle. And by the time because there was one night I had 50 questions answered. So I had 50 stories. You're not going to get 2,000 people watch all 50. It will drastically drop, because they, as well as that, the platform doesn't actually show it to people. They see your page kind of as being a bit of a spam. So you have to be careful with that as well. So I felt in the last 3 months, they were really kind of hindering my performance on stories. And then from talking to clients as well, they were coming in with the same issue as well. Any more than 5 stories and they're falling apart. Like, so I decided to try out a live video. I watched a live video of a photographer in America, and there was these Q&A boxes coming up, and he was able to actually display them on the screen. This was a new feature, and I thought this is the way forward, and I much prefer it. And the great thing about it is I can save the live down onto my IGTV, and I save it as a series. So it's I list it. So I have episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, so people can actually go and watch them. They're an hour and a half each, and they can watch it. So it means then that people say to me, because I used to get it all the time, I missed stuff for Tuesday tips, or can you tell me what you said about equipment? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I missed, what camera do you use? What's your favorite wide angle lens? Stuff like that there. And it's just, now I can just go, here's the link. There's the link. It's on my IGTV. That was episode 2. Go have a look. And if I can remember when I was answered, I might be able to say, maybe skip 45 minutes into it. But I would just try to tell them, just watch it all. Just watch it all. I have a beautiful voice. You want to listen to
it. So would you ever imagine then just be doing like hour-long, like web TV shows? Like,
No, never. This all came this comes organically. Just there's no thinking behind it. There's no over planning to it. Even though I know you might say, well, hold on, you animated yourself into a cartoon and you have a full intro title suite to it. Maybe I'll send you the file. You can just put it there.
That's very good, Duffer. So, and the way that you work, any other kind of interesting ways, the typical day for you, the way that you get through the work, and you compartmentalize shoots or editing, or what else do you get up to day to day?
I have no structure. I have absolutely no structure at all. It's just I don't even write anything down. I keep everything in my head, which is such a bad practice. But like, it's just the way. Even when I was a designer, I would see designers working with me, and they'd have notebooks and they'd have everything written down, and I just was never ever like that. If you saw me writing, it was usually doodling. I wouldn't be writing a thing. So no, like I have a full day of editing to get done today. So it's just priorities. I just know what's needed. So I have one client and she needs photos. She needs them today. Actually, both clients need them today. So I just told one, look, you can get that one by close of business, and the other one will be it'll be earlier in the day. Like so, I don't really put any kind of structure to it. But the great thing with some of the shoots is like I might get like a shoot on a Monday, but I might not get another one for later in the week. So then I have time during the week to really. What I do like to do as well is when I finish editing the photos, like these ones are fine. There's not much actual edited wanted in them, so that's fine. But if it was, I did some edits last week, and I actually said to the client, look, I have the edits finished. I'm just going to give them a day, and I'm going to look at them with fresh eyes and just make sure that they are right for you. So sometimes, when it comes to that's one thing I will have to compartmentalize with myself is that I need to check over. Wait, hold on. I did edits yesterday, but I need to check these first before I start anything else. But that's the great thing with Lightroom is the program I use for editing. The way it catalogs the photos, I can actually just see, because they're all taken in sequence. So I just work off that. So it's all there's the section of photos of yesterday's shoot, and these are the photos from this morning's shoot. So I just work my way through them. So it's probably the reason why I don't actually need to structure it, is because maybe the program has it. When I upload the photos, I can see it straight out what needs to be done.
Very good. Is there any kind of advice for you up and coming designers, creatives, photographers that that you might, any tips you'd have for them after having gone through it yourself?
Yeah. The first thing I'd say is don't get in the habit of making excuses. Too many people, especially in photography, come at the attitude of I'm only an amateur. It's only my first time. And they've been met with, if I was on a WhatsApp group before with a couple of lads, and they got met harshly with me, because I grew up with, like, I have an uncle who's a wedding videographer, I have another uncle who's a voiceover artist, and they're really strict. Even like one of them could play drums, and the constructive criticism they would give to me on drumming, even when I was a kid, was seen as pretty harsh, but it was tough love. My dad's the same as well, so I was brought up that way. So when I hear people making excuses, it drives me insane, because with this here, like with drumming, it's a physical thing. There's limits to what you can play physically. There's things I've never been able to play, heavy metal music fast on the feet. I've never been able to do that. But with photography, you can take your time. You can edit, you can re-edit, you can relearn, you can go back, you can revisit. So when someone puts up a photo and says it's only my first time, I'm like, maybe wait till it's your 10th time and then post that one idea and make sure it's perfect. So the competition out there is, and especially in design, there's a huge competition. And as well as that, companies don't care. They want results. They don't want issues and stuff. So they don't want to hear the excuses too. So if you are getting into this, take your work extremely seriously. You don't have to take yourself seriously, but take your work extremely seriously. Reputation is the strongest currency, and that's I always work with that. I want my name higher than what people see me. You know what I mean? I'm sat here in an interview in a hoodie, like, you know what I mean? It's not like I wouldn't be one for wearing suits, but my work, I think, wears its suit. That's where I wear my suit. That's how I. And when you look at if you go into any big company as well, you will see that common enough as well with designers. They're usually pretty relaxed looking, but their work is serious. That's it's the kind of Batman Bruce Wayne syndrome. You know what I mean? He's not actually dressed as Batman. Batman is dressed as Bruce Wayne. If you want to think of it like that, it's a bit of a weird analogy, but so if new designers are coming with that, just really and truly take your time. Don't get too excited to post photos or post stuff if it's not right, because this is representing you. This is your potential brand. So if you want to be seen, I don't want to sound harsh again, but if you want to be seen as a half-hour, put up half-hour stuff. But if you want to be taken seriously, take your work extremely seriously and try and be better than the next person. Look at your contemporaries, see what they're doing well, and then take it from there.
Very, very good advice. Is there any people that would inspire you, that would have inspired you through your career, or people that you might learn from or watch videos on? People, whether it's the skills or maybe on business or photography or your career.
I'd say one of the biggest, I'd say, inspirations to me was head of design I had in Boy Sports, Lee Hollingworth. Just talented man. He's a former British Marine, and then he went into design, which I thought was just a contrast of careers. But the stuff, he used to actually have a look at our Photoshop files to make sure that we were actually not just doing a good job, but doing it the right way as well. Non-destructive editing and stuff like that there. And even he watches my YouTube videos now, and he was one of the reasons I was really strict on how the book looked, because I didn't want to be sending him a book design and him kind of going, did he design it this way, or did he not just check quality? Because I knew he'd see it, he'd notice it like that. He's an eagle eye for that kind of thing. So he would be with the design thing. He was a big inspiration. And then photographers like Nick Page and Elila Lacardi, Peter Hurley, and then Carl Taylor, and they're top of the field. They really are top of the field. Nick Page, Elila Lacardi for landscape photography, Peter Hurley for headshots, and Carl Taylor is just, in my eyes, he's absolutely untouchable when it comes to product photography.
Okay.
And none of them actually fall victim to trends. So there's too many people fall victim to the trend, especially if anyone does know my Instagram page, you'll know the common joke of my friends sending in questions and Duffy shoots of tips with teal and orange, that I'm not a fan of it, because it's a trendy way of color grading. For anyone who's not knowing what I'm talking about, if you look at the way the film Joker with Joaquin Phoenix is, how that's color graded, all the colors, his skin tone is quite kind of nearly orange, and all the shadows are quite green. Same way as back in the early 2000s, everyone wanted to look like the Matrix, so they made everything look green. Nowadays they've gone this teal and orange, and it's just I try not to fall victim to trends, because trends die. The Schindler's List, the girl in the red dress, the selective color, 15 years ago that was what every wedding photographer was doing. The black and white photo with the red roses in the foreground. Nobody does that anymore because it was done to that. So I try to surround myself in guys who can produce that kind of work, but then can actually see past that. And actually go back to the question as well, for the designers and anyone looking to work as a photographer as well, for this industry as well, when you're working for someone else's brand, you need to be a chameleon. So when you do work for someone, they shouldn't be able. When I did there was one comment that commonly came to me when I posted up the fact that I had shot for the Republic of Ireland recently for their New Jersey squads. A common email came to me, was just like, I didn't know that you did that. And I was just like, that's the whole point. I'm not photographing for me, I'm photographing for them, for their brand, for their look. I should be a comedian. I should suit that. You shouldn't see that's a Mark Duffy photo. I should tell you that's a Mark Duffy photo, and then that adds to my branding that I will suit everything. So if you're one of these ones that loves the trends, you're only going to pigeonhole yourself to companies that fall in line with that trend. If you need to do something else, then that's where you fall short. So that's why I would say to people, don't fall victim to trends. It's a good idea to know how to use them, because you will come across briefs that need it, but not every brief needs it.
Yeah, that's great advice. Just kind of to wrap up, what are kind of future plans for yourself, and is it maybe would you see yourself growing the team at some stage, or are you going to plow the lone furrow for 2021, or what are the plans?
I'd love to have my own studio. That's one thing I'd love to have. I had priced them. I started I went out with my own and started January, and straight away I was looking at pricing rents and stuff. But the ideas I would need a big space. I'd love to have, a big enough commercial space to suit nearly everything. But as well as that, be able to host workshops, editing workshops, bring groups of photographers in to teach them how to actually photograph, teach them how to edit, And then as I'll continue to sell my photography prints, because I do sell fine art prints with my landscape photography, so nearly have a shop front. But when I was, it's one of them wild ideas, so maybe that might be down the line. And then with that comes, you would need at that stage the kind of jobs you'd be bringing in. You would need assistants and stuff working with you too. But I would love to have that. That it's an all-in-one, studio, academy, and retail shop as well, all in one, so it's a big
vision.
It's a big vision, but I do have a big ambition for my work as well. Like I kind of more focus on my work more so than myself, so it's my work that I want to push forward, and doing that as well. Like the thing is, I learned everything I know off YouTube, so I try to give back as much as I can. So if I can teach as much as, because it was difficult in the beginning to know what you need to know, to find the name of a particular technique that you keep seeing everywhere. So if I can if I can help as much as I can, I will as well.
Well, I think it's brilliant. I really love the fact that you're giving back, the big visions, the amazing attention to detail and professionalism, and the personal branding, which would kind of really impress me and get yourself out there, which is why I wanted to have a chat to you. So I've kind of really, really enjoyed getting to know you better, Mark. And is there anything else you'd like to kind of finish up with? Any kind of final thoughts?
No, I think I've
said it all.
I think I've said it all. I'm afraid of actually repeating myself at this stage. Notorious for that too. So I don't structure my work and I don't structure my conversations. I just whatever comes out is just you can't take it back.
No, I think it's been great. I really enjoyed it. I wish you lots and lots of luck in the future. I hope you achieve your ambitions, and we'll keep in touch and watch how you're getting on.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If this is your first time to join us, you are most welcome, and please subscribe for future episodes. This show is shared with you to help you succeed, so please share with others to help them succeed too. At Selfmakers, we believe you can all be your own business. We're here to help self-employed people across the globe accelerate their careers and achieve self-made success. Please visit selfmakers.com and follow Selfmakers on social media. Bye for now.